Hey guys, Shaun Media just want to do a big shout out to Rugby League Coffee Lounge. All the best this year, 2020.
Alright, oh yeah! Fuck! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to another live stream for your Monday night, February 6, 2023. I hope you guys are all doing extremely well. I know it's a bit of a late stream tonight, but it's been a hell of a day. It's been very busy. Haven't had a chance to breathe, to be honest with you. So I thought I'll go live about 9:30 tonight, 9:40, and I know it's a bit late for some people, but at least I'm live and I'm doing something for you guys. So we're here and we are ready to go. Tonight's live stream is going to be the top 10 NRL players under huge pressure going into season 2023. Now, you could name about 20 players that are under a lot of pressure going into this season, but I have come up with a list of 10, from 10 up to 1. You could probably fix the order up a little bit if you really wanted to get technical with it, but it's just the top 10 list that I've come up with, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. But before I do, if you guys are new to the YouTube channel, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. We're trying to get there by the end of the year. So if you're new, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to everyone that takes the time out of their day or night to tune into my videos. So it's outstanding. Anyway, before we get into the list, we'll say hello to the live chat, and then we'll get into it. Hello to HYNES in the live chat. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hello to Rishi. Hello to Bosky. Josh Rapidos 2023. Aussie Mozzie is here. SS Storm fan. We've got the loyal Jason Reader. Everyone's starting to roll in now. It's looking like a pretty good crowd for Monday night. So not bad. 9:45 p.m. here in New South Wales. So still got a fairly decent crowd. Let me just fix this microphone up a little bit. So it should be good. All right, let's get into it. So the top 10 NRL players under huge pressure going into the 2023 NRL season. Some will agree with this list. Some will disagree. You guys can let me know your list in the live chat or in the comment section below after the live stream. If you're watching the live stream back as a video, let me know your top 10 NRL players under a lot of pressure going into this season. Without further ado, let's get into it. And we're going to start with number 10 from the Gold Coast Titans. We're going to start with Kieran Foran. Now, Kieran Foran has had a remarkable rugby league career. He's been a real battler over the years. He's taken a lot of punishment. He's taken a lot of hits. He's done a lot of great things for the game. In my opinion, Kieran Foran is under a lot of pressure this season. He's left the Manly Seagulls, or he was forced out by them, really, to be fair, because they want to experiment Josh Schuster at 5'8". Kieran Foran is now heading off to the Gold Coast Titans, where he'll most likely end his career up there. The Gold Coast Titans, at the start of last year, they let go of Jamal Fogarty, their most experienced half, and the Titans ended up having a miserable, terrible season last year. They've gone out in the market. They've picked up Kieran Foran. He is the experience. He is the leadership. He is the controlling half they need. But the reason why he's under a lot of pressure is because he's gone to a club that doesn't have a lot of success. He's going to a club that's basically been a failure since they ever came into the NRL. Kieran Foran going up to the Gold Coast is under a lot of pressure to perform up there. If Foran doesn't perform, the Gold Coast won't perform. And I do worry about Foran because of his injury history. I do worry about how much he's going to run the ball at the Gold Coast, but he shouldn't have to with Brimson in that team and guys like Jaden Campbell who can just run the ball for him, and Foran can be that game-managing halfback that we all know that he can be. But he's under a lot of pressure going up to the Gold Coast. It's very rare that a lot of experienced halves go up to the Gold Coast and do a great job. So, in my opinion, Kieran Foran is under enormous pressure going into this season, and if he doesn't perform, it's going to be looked back as a failure. So, number 10 on this list is the Titans half, Kieran Foran. Number 9, Shaun Johnson from the New Zealand Warriors. What's happened to Shaun Johnson? Shaun Johnson once was compared to the next Benji Marshall. He had the best step in the game. He had the best running game in the game. He was so quick off the mark. His kicking game was outstanding. What the hell has happened to the career of the Warriors halfback Shaun Johnson? I know he's had a few injuries over the years and whatnot, but in 2022, Shaun Johnson did not look interested at any stage last year. He might have had a couple of games where he was man of the match, but it wasn't many of them. It was very rare. Shaun Johnson is under enormous pressure going into this season. If the New Zealand Warriors are going to do absolutely anything this year, Shaun Johnson needs to lead by example. He needs to step up, and he needs to lead this team to wins. He needs to lead this team on and off the field. Shaun Johnson is now an experienced leader. He's a halfback. He doesn't run the ball a whole lot anymore. He does a lot of game management sort of stuff. Shaun Johnson needs a bounce-back season really badly. If Shaun Johnson doesn't perform now, he's not going to perform again in 2024. So Shaun Johnson, a lot of pressure on him this year. And if the Warriors are going to do absolutely anything this year, if the New Zealand Warriors are going to win games, Shaun Johnson's going to be at the front helm of that. So a lot of pressure for Shaun Johnson this year. I'm expecting Shaun Johnson to absolutely do something. Have a go, Shaun. We all look. I'm a Shaun Johnson fan. I've always rated him. I've always liked him as a player. He just needs to have a big season. So for me, number 9 on this list is the Warriors halfback, Shaun Johnson. Under a lot of pressure. Number 8 is Isaiah Papali'i, the West Tigers' new recruit there in the second row. Now, Isaiah Papali'i, when he first come on the scene in the NRL, he was at the New Zealand Warriors. He was a pretty decent young prospect coming through at the Warriors in the back row. Played a little bit of football in the middle as well. And at the Warriors, there were times where he was a little bit lazy. He wouldn't put the effort into, in a situation where he could have maybe got there if he had a bit more confidence. At the Warriors, he was a bit up and down, and then he went to the Eels, and Isaiah Papali'i became the Dally M second row of the year. I think it was in 2022 or 2021. Sorry, Papali'i was back row of the season. Excuse me. Some people still rate Isaiah Papali'i as one of the best back rowers in the game. And he is definitely a top 5 back rower going into the season. But now he's left the Eels. He's left a great system. He's left a great team. And he's now heading to the West Tigers. Now, the West Tigers, they were the Wooden Spooners last season. And there'll be a lot of pressure on Papali'i going from the grand finalist, a team that finished 4th last year, to a team that just won the Wooden Spoon. Papali'i is now touted as one of the best back rowers in the world. And if he doesn't perform at the West Tigers, it's going to be a flop. That's why the pressure for Papali'i going into this season is very big. He's under enormous pressure. I'm really intrigued to see how Papali'i goes this season. I'm really interested to see how he goes. He's under a lot of pressure. If he doesn't work out, we're all gonna look back on this and we're gonna go, yeah, this bloke was fair to put on the list. So we'll see how he goes. But number 8 is the West Tigers' new recruit, Isaiah Papali'i, under a lot of pressure going into this season. Number 7, another new recruit, off to the Bulldogs hooker, Reed Mahoney. Now, Reed Mahoney, he, again, a bit like Isaiah Papali'i, he went from a club that finished in the top 4 last season, made a grand final, and now he's off to the big rivals, the Bulldogs. Reed Mahoney is under enormous pressure this season. The Bulldogs are looking good. They have recruited well in the offseason. They have a lot of youth and experience in their squad. The Bulldogs think they have their spine almost ready to go. If Reed Mahoney doesn't work, it's going to be a failure. I'll tell you, Reed Mahoney is under a lot of pressure to perform. Last season at Parramatta, Reed Mahoney got away with a lot of quiet games. Well, for me, Reed Mahoney, he's going to have to be a top 3 player on field, I reckon, at least. Like when the Bulldogs win games, Reed Mahoney's going to have to be the top 3 player on ground for them. He's going to have to perform on a consistent basis. At Parramatta last year, it didn't have to be a top 3 player on ground because of the quality around him, like Gutherson, Brown, Moses, Lane, PAPALI'I, all these sort of players, Junior Paulo, Regan Campbell-Gillard and whatnot. So Reed Mahoney's gone from the Eels to the Bulldogs. And look, I think Parramatta still have a bit more quality than Canterbury, but the pressure for Reed Mahoney at the Bulldogs it's definitely massive. So I'm intrigued to see how Reed Mahoney goes. I think he'll kill it. I think he'll go very well, but I think Reed Mahoney's definitely in the top 10 players under a lot of pressure going into the season. So we'll see how Reed Mahoney goes. But number 7 is Reed Mahoney from the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. He's under a lot of pressure going into this season. Number 6, Cowboys young gun, second rower, Jeremiah NANAI. Now, Jeremiah NANAI last season in 2022 was the Dally M second rower of the season, and he was also the rookie of the season. Jeremiah NANAI is under enormous pressure to back up what he did last year. Now, can Jeremiah NANAI can he replicate what he did in his rookie season? Possibly. Is he going to do what he did last year? Possibly. Maybe not. Maybe he could get better. We always hear the saying of the second-year syndrome sort of thing with young players. NANAI is definitely in that category where it's a possibility he may have a quiet season. Now, obviously, I'm going to back Jeremiah NANAI in. I'm going to back him in to have a big season because he's obviously plays for my club, and I'm going to support him all the way to the end. But Jeremiah NANAI, he's under a lot of pressure going into this season. It is very difficult for our rookie of the year to do exactly what they did in their previous season. So NANAI's under enormous pressure going into this year. I think he'll be fine, but the pressure is there, and if he doesn't work out, there's going to be a lot of question marks on Jeremiah NANAI. So for me, Jeremiah NANAI is number 6 on the list. Now let's go to the top 5. Number 5, the Brisbane Broncos new recruit, Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh is, again, a bit like Jeremiah NANAI. He had that incredible rookie season, and then he had a quiet one last year. Reece Walsh is under a lot of pressure going into this season. He is now the Brisbane Broncos fullback. The Brisbane Broncos last year were in the top 4 in round 19, and they fell off a cliff, and they ended up missing the entire top 8. If Reece Walsh does not work, there's going to be a lot of question marks on him and the Broncos recruitment team. Now, there's no denying Reece Walsh has the talent, he has the passing, he has all the ability in the world to be a freakish player in this competition. When Reece Walsh made his debut season, he was a bit of a shining light for the Warriors. He was probably one of their best players. Last season, season 2022, in my opinion, Reece Walsh was probably a top 3, top 4 worst fullback in the game. He wasn't even in the top 10 fullbacks last year. He was probably ranked about 13th to 14th. Reece Walsh last year was abysmal and pathetic. This season, he is under enormous pressure. He's back at home. He's playing in front of the place that he's from. He's from Queensland. He's back at the Broncos where he started his junior career. He needs to be careful off the field, that whole thing with David FIFITA in the offseason. That can be a distraction as well. But Reece Walsh, under enormous pressure going into this season. I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes. But Reece Walsh is definitely on this list for me. So number 5 is the Broncos' new recruit, the fullback for them, Reece Walsh. Number 4, Luke Brooks. How many times, how many years, how many decades, how many weeks, how many months are we going to talk about Luke Brooks? Luke Brooks, the $1 million man at the West Tigers, year after year, failure after failure, can't lead a team to a final series. Luke Brooks is under a lot of pressure once again. Tim Sheens has backed him. I can't believe they chose Luke Brooks over Jackson Hastings. The West Tigers are going to regret this one, I guarantee it. Luke Brooks, again, it's pretty obvious why he's on this list. Luke Brooks has had a really disappointing career. He's had he's had one good NRL season. That was when he was Dally M halfback of the year. I believe it was 2019, the year that I think it was 2019. It was 18 or 19. It was one of them years. Luke Brooks, again, $1 million man at the West Tigers, trying to lead this team to a final series. They come last year. It's hard to imagine Luke Brooks doing anything, but again, the price tag, the pressure, Tim Sheens is backing him to the moon. Luke Brooks is under a lot of pressure going into this season, so he needs to perform. And honestly, as much as I've bagged Luke Brooks over the years, as much as I shit on him weekly, I genuinely hope he has a good season. I really do. I genuinely hope, and I really hope Luke Brooks has a very positive 2023 NRL season. I don't think he will. I'm pretty confident. I'm 95% confident that Luke Brooks is going to have a terrible year and the Tigers are going to go dog shit. But for Luke Brooks' sake and for his career's sake, I genuinely hope he has a better year. I really do. But anyway, it's pretty obvious why Luke Brooks is on this list. So number 4 is the West Tigers halfback, Luke Brooks. Number 3, the 2022 Dally M medalist, Nicho Hynes. Nicho Hynes was the big off-season recruit for the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks in 2022. He played halfback for them. He, alongside the fantastic coaching of Craig Fitzgibbon, Nicho Hynes led the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks to the top 4. They finished second. Yes, they went out in straight sets, but what Nicho Hynes did in the regular season last year was absolutely fantastic. But again, a bit like a few of these other players like NANAI and PAPALI'I, they need to back it up. They need to do it again. Nicho Hynes needs to replicate what he did last season. Now, the Sharks do have a fairly favourable draw in their hands once again. But Nicho Hynes, because he's a Dally M medalist and he only had the one great season at the one position, halfback, he needs to back it up. He needs to do it again. I'm not saying he needs to be Dally M level again, but he needs to be very good for the Sharks. So, Nicho Hynes, I'm really interested to see how he goes this season. He's under a lot of pressure and needs to perform. So, number 3 for me is the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks halfback, the reigning Dally M medalist, Nicho Hynes. Hopefully, he backs up what he did last year. Otherwise, the pressure is going to get big. So, Nicho Hynes, number 3. Number 2, Gold Coast Titans, $1 million man, David FIFITA. Now, I know there's a lot of off-field issues at the moment with FIFITA. He had that Reece Walsh incident. There's rumours of him. Is he going to stay at the Gold Coast? Is he going to leave the Gold Coast and go down to Canberra? Because apparently his missus is going to play for the Canberra Raiders NRLW team. So that whole situation is doing its thing. David FIFITA, another player that is at the Gold Coast, and when $1 million players go to the Gold Coast, we all know it's red flags and things don't go well. But the thing is, right, FIFITA, $1 million a season, second rower, trying to win games, trying to do things right. FIFITA is under pressure again. If David FIFITA wants another $1 million contract again, in his NRL career. He needs to have a massive 2023 NRL season. Fifita's got the agility, he's got the size, he's got the leg speed, he's got it all. But it seems like he's put on a little bit of weight, seems to be a bit slower, seems to be lacking a little bit. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that he's at the Gold Coast. But David Fifita, he's on $1 million a season. He's in the second row for a club that's always been a failure. Fifita's under enormous pressure this season. If he doesn't perform this year, he will be shot. Canberra will pick him up for about $500,000 a season. And look, it's just one of those things where Fifita needs a big year. And if he doesn't have a big year, he'll be gone. So, number 2, Gold Coast Titans back rower, David Fifita. I know the Titans didn't have a great half pairing last year, but Fifita's a gun. Just use him properly. It's not that difficult. Don't play him in the centers either. Last year when I played him there for a few games, it was laughable. And number 1, the number 1 player, in my opinion, under the most pressure going into season 2023 is the Manly Seagulls 5'8", Josh Schuster. Now, I'm a big Josh Schuster fan. This bloke's under so much pressure, it is not even funny. And I'll explain why. When Josh Schuster come through in 2021, he come on the scene at the Manly Seagulls he played in the second row. He did absolutely nothing last year. He had one of the worst years I've ever seen him play. Now, he's only been around for a couple of years. I know he's still quite young. I believe in Schuster, I really do, but this bloke has brought this upon himself. 2021, come on the scene, played fantastic alongside Tom Trbojevic, Daly Cherry Evans, and the list goes on and on. Now, last year, Schuster played second row. He put on all this weight. He looked really, really fat. I thought he was carrying an extra fucking beanbag at one point, carrying an extra tire. Josh Schuster is a talented player. This bloke is now going from second row back to 5'8". If Josh Schuster doesn't work at 5'8", what the hell are the Manly Warringah Seagulls going to do? I know they've got that young Weeks kid coming through there, but I don't know if he's ready for week-to-week NRL. I don't know if he's ready for that. They've got Cooper Johns, who they bought for depth. I don't think Cooper Johns is going to save Manly's issues. Josh Schuster, I'm a big fan. I really am. I'm a big fan of him. He's got the size. He's got the skills. He's got the ability. Look, I don't want to compare him to past players, but I really am getting Tony Williams vibes with Josh Schuster. Remember when Tony Williams came on the scene as a back rower, and he was one of the best back rowers in the game, played a few Origins, and then he left Manly, went to the Dogs, and a few things didn't go the way of T-Rex. I'm getting Tony Williams vibes with Josh Schuster. I love Josh Schuster, but he needs to stay away from McDonald's. He needs to stay with his diet, and he needs to have a big year. I'm telling you this. This is just my opinion. If a spine of Tom Trbojevic, Josh Schuster, Daly Cherry Evans, and Lachlan Croker, and Jake Trbojevic at 13, if that clicks and that works well, Manly probably play finals. If they all play 15 to 18 games, they all stay fit, and the spine works, Manly probably make the top 8. But if it doesn't work out, they could easily fall down to 12th to 13th or finish 10th again. It's just so hard it's such an unknown with Manly. But Josh Schuster, one of those players where he's going to get offered big money. I see him as a potential Origin player in the near future. So I just hope he performs this year. Big fan of Josh Schuster. But for me, out of all these players, Josh Schuster is under the most pressure going into season 2023. If him and Cherry Evans don't work out, God help us. God help Manly. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give the live stream a like and a subscribe. Share the content around on YouTube or on social media, I should say. Tomorrow afternoon / tomorrow night, hang on, guys, 1 second. Tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, I will be doing the 2023 NRL Week 1 trial games preview. I'll be previewing all the trial games. I'll also be previewing the All-Star game, hopefully tomorrow night as well. We are planning for the podcast to happen this week sometime as well. But I'll let you guys know more about that on Instagram and on the YouTube community tab. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. I'll be doing the NRL trial game preview tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, whatever. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Have a phenomenal Monday night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the trial games, Week 1 preview. Ladies and gentlemen, the footy is back.